I call the Township of Aleppo workshop meeting of April 14, 2025 to order at 7 p.m.
We've all been waiting.
Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
President Jones,
Present.
Vice President Williams.
Present.
Commissioner Dara.
Present.
Commissioner Richard.
Present.
Commissioner DeLuca.
Here.
Solicitor Jewett. Solicitor Jewett. Manager Patterson. Here. I don't know if I have to yell or not.
Our solicitor is participating by phone. This meeting, as all others, is being recorded and will be uploaded to YouTube. Do I hear a motion to approve the March 17th legislative meetings?
So moved. Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? The meeting minutes, not minute meetings, are approved. There is an open seat on the Planning Commission. It's my understanding we have 2 expressions of interest.
Yes, in your packet, there was only one here when you got the packet via email, but you have now both letters in your packet. The first letter of interest is from Jed Michael. He was here last year and introduced himself and is willing to be, is interested in being selected for the Planning Commission. And the second letter is from Larry Kastner, both township residents, and both have expressed an interest. So they have not yet been invited. The traditional appointment process that the board has followed in the past is that people submit letters of interest and then they are invited to attend a meeting that works out for their schedule to introduce themselves to the board and the public. And then the board thinks about it for a month and then makes their decision at the following meeting. So that's how the board has handled it in the past. So they're not here because
Right.
they didn't do that part yet. So, yeah.
Having recruited them both, I believe they are both highly qualified candidates. So why don't you take a look at the resumes? And we'll invite next week.
Okay.
Not for the next week meeting, but we'll invite them at the meeting next week.
Sure, so I'll be reaching out to them to see if they're available for one of the May meetings.
I think the workshop meeting in May.
I'll see if I can get them here.
Earth Day cleanup.
Earth Day will be held Saturday, April 26th, and same thing that we do every year. Everybody assembles here at the Township Building. We have the gloves, the vests, the trash bags, and we gather here for coffee and donuts in the morning, and then teams fan out along Deer Run Road, Glenfield Road, some on Redgate, and pick up trash where it is most needed to be picked up. Usually ends around 11, so it's about 2 hours that people are out along the roadsides. If you go down to the bottom of the hill, don't worry, you'll get a ride back up. You don't have to be willing to walk up Deer Run to participate. We will drive you back up the hill.
And who drives the truck?
I drive a truck, and then the guys drive a truck. I'm usually the ferry. I will just, call me for a ride, and I'll come down and get you and bring you back up. I also drive up for bathroom breaks, so you don't have to commit for 2 hours in the woods. You're fine. We will accommodate a lot of that.
So that means we all have a positive attitude?
Positive attitude,
Okay.
so.
When do you require people to sign up ahead of time?
We do not. It's helpful if we know, that just basically for a head count and for a donut count, but, that's about it. So, the more the merrier, there's enough to be picked up everywhere, so.
The
Do we
other
have-
question is, did you talk to him about whether we want to do lunch?
No, but I will.
Okay.
We'll do that tomorrow.
Do we anticipate participation by Amazon?
They asked, about it and they asked for the date, so I asked them to give me a heads up again, just so I know how many people are coming. So I will know that hopefully closer to the day, whether or not they will be participating.
And
That's great.
was there any other information about the area that was particularly littered?
There was one section that we received an email about that's a hillside behind Amazon that had gotten some litter, and Tim said that he saw some crews out there working, some Amazon crews out there cleaning up, so
Good.
we'll be following up on that as part of the whole Earth Day process.
New business, conditional use hearing.
Next week, you will have a conditional use hearing for Carl Walker Construction. They are proposing to purchase a building at 209 Overlook Drive and operate their construction business out of that site. We had the planning commission review that, and it met, generally, what they're proposing meets what our industrial park does. We just have certain uses that require conditional use approval, just so that the board can have some extra information about what businesses are going in and see if there are any reasonable conditions that you might want to place on it. So that'll be at the beginning of the meeting next week, and there will be a court reporter here for that, and the applicants will be here for that.
Exoneration of Clayton Stoop for collection of 2023 real estate taxes.
This is an annual requirement from the bonding company that bonds him for the collection of the taxes. And so next week on the agenda, there'll be a motion to exonerate him, and we've done this in years past. It's a formality required. So he's not responsible for any outstanding balances.
I'm going to skip item C for a brief item D. When do you recall any discussion about volunteer fire departments at the conference?
Just in general, I did not attend that EMS session, but just in general that they need assistance. I mean, that the system built on volunteers is, the number of volunteers is diminishing every year, and it's a system that relies on your neighbor to come help you with that. So but we've not heard anything so far about state or even county stepping in to try to require paid positions. So as of now, the volunteer structure is still what we're going to be having.
To summarize, it apparently is a national problem. Some fire departments are getting very creative in their motivations. One of the fire departments, I think it was one of the EMSs, offered 2-year VOTEC college degrees to people if they would sign up for 5 years. So
That, I think, is a county program that is available to.
Yeah, that's been available for
Existing-
15 years.
And our volunteers could
Yes.
take advantage of that as well.
Yeah, you can go to CCAC for EMT, basically for free.
that's a good idea.
And have been able to do that for a long, long time. And now the high schools are actually offering it in their VOTEC. You know how they used to go out to like woodworking and home ec and whatever? You can go out as part of that training and do,
Good.
what's that, the VOTEC school, PSI, PTI, Pennsylvania Technical Institute, or whatever it is. Is that what it is?
I think so.
Yeah, they have an EMT program and, that high school kids can do.
That's
And
good.
then when they graduate, they have already sat for their exam and graduate as a certified EMT.
And I think some of the volunteer fire departments are looking at additional tax rebates. In other words, they're getting creative. So number 2 is we should feel very fortunate because we have a wonderful volunteer fire department, which takes me back to item C. Donation request from Aleppo Township Volunteer Fire Company.
So every year, the fire company does a fundraising campaign. They have an agency, and they send out letters, and they send it to us at the office as well as to all the individual homeowners, and it looks like this. Those of you just get this in the mail, respond. And in the years past, Patty prepares this chart of the different donations that the board has made in the past. And in the past 2 years that they have sought a donation, the township has donated $250 towards their donation campaign.
Will we wait till next week?
Yeah, just voting. Okay, so I'll put that on the agenda for next week.
Okay, and
I
then,
have comments on the EMT presentation that was made up there. They had 5 very experienced gentlemen who I've seen before, heard before, and they started out with their difficulties of financial situations and so on and so forth. And I thought, oh my, this is going to be a recap of what it has been. And then the last gentleman got up, which unfortunately I did not get his name, but he began to present a new method of raising funds without going out and having the EMTs take their time to go make vocal presentations and so on and so forth, and they're doing it through subscription basis. And,
You know that's been Valley has done that for
yeah,
50 years, we just had our 50 year
well,
anniversary.
I guess it's really starting to gain punch. The largest situation, well, basically, they've taken off the difficulties of having their EMTs go out and take evenings and so on and so forth. And now they're having there is a collection company that they're using, so even that part of it is being sort of bled off easily. But the one that really brought my attention, I think everybody else in the room, is that up in Indiana, PA, 8 municipalities got together and built this system of collecting money. It's like that. And they've been doing it, I guess, for 2.5 years. And they were very happy to advise us that they had $1 million in the bank.
Ross Westview, which is local to us.
Right.
They implemented it 2 years ago. They have a required, I don't know what they call it, but it's a per capita, per household.
Yeah.
That's required. I think it's
I think it's
$55
I think
last year.
56.
Yeah, I think it was $56. That's required of every house within the municipality. But and it applies here as well. There's only, I don't want to misspeak, because I know somebody that's watching this will call. I believe there's 3 that this is true. Us, Valley Ambulance Authority, Quaker Valley Ambulance Authority together, McCandless, Franklin Park, and Ross Westview,
Franklin Park was mentioned.
who are freestanding municipalities, which gives them the right to tax. They're not authorities as we think of authorities, they are truly freestanding municipalities in and of themselves. So they have the right, which is one of the reasons that we're kind of okay, they have the right to tax. So Valley's never done that. Ross Westview is the first one in this area that has done that. And they've levied that $55, $56, whatever it is, call it what it is, tax on each household to support EMS. But those 3 are unique in that they are municipalities in and of themselves. They're considered municipal governments. That's how they're chartered.
Yeah, it's a different different presentation of what I was talking about in the subscriptions, because the subscription does one thing that
Well, Valley's always been subscription based.
have they?
Yes, so is Quaker Valley.
Yeah. So they were very, very happy, and they tried to represent to everybody that this is an opportunity and that
Medic Rescue Beaver County
these
is
ones are
also
getting
a
bigger, and then they brought up
subscription.
I don't know the name of the one, but I know it was in Indiana, PA, but it did 8 of the municipalities went together. So that's a complete way of getting a presentation to gain finance.
So I think, again, pressure is on, alternate funding sources are being evaluated. The presentation was excellent, and Ross Westview was a highlight of that.
Is that Brian? Did Brian speak?
Can't remember the name.
He's their director.
Yeah. Gwen, do you have other reports from the conference?
One of my sessions that I really enjoyed was a very practical session that was aimed more at administrative positions than commissioner positions, and it was talking about some of the roles that we have to follow according to county regulations about assigning addresses, and I thought that was great. So I let them know when they did the survey, what kind of sessions you want to see. I thought it would be nice to have some that were really focused for staff, as well as ones that are just generally for commissioners and staff to learn from. So I did those. We went to a deer management session that,
Oh, Lord.
said, hey, it would be really great if you adopted a don't feed your deer ordinance. And so I was like, done. They always have a county council panel, and they have a solicitors panel, and those are usually useful because a lot of those are just Q&A. So if somebody gets up and asks, the audience asks questions, you learn things that other communities are going through, or you learn, the initiatives that they're taking. So those kinds of just group conversation sessions are always pretty useful, and sometimes, you get a little bit more out of those than just straight presentations, so.
And in our notes, we'll be talking to the solicitor about policies on the use of social media, policies on the use of AI, and just one example of the artificial intelligence, a much overused word. If we generated something using AI and it gave false information, it opens us up to lawsuits. If a commissioner uses social media and says anything related to policy and it goes viral, you can get sued. So I think, not immediate, but we'll be looking at policies for both of those areas, correct?
Yep, we would be very happy to, obviously help out with that. I've redone social media policies for both elected and appointed officials and public staff over the past several years, and, things have even changed since I did a last rollout there. So it's an important item to get up to date on because, both what's available to post on, what's available to be done with what you post, and the law is changing quickly. So whenever you're ready to take a look at that, I'll be happy to assist.
Good. Maybe some additional comments next week?
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, I even have sort of a couple key items I think would be important to get you up to date on. I can be prepared to discuss that next week.
Anything else, Manager Patterson or Commissioner Williams? It was an excellent conference.
It was.
The presentations seem to be getting better each year. And then I think the overriding concern is, don't hold me to this, I think Pennsylvania is standing to lose $53 billion from the feds. So every presentation was, where are we going to get the money? Any other comments? Local Government Week, April 14th to the 18th.
Welcome, it's local government week. This is the week where people, like all of us in this room, can share what we do with others. So Patty wrote up a really nice article and posted it on our website, and it's posted on our door, talking about what local government does, because people who don't always pay attention till they need something, so that,
Why don't you send that to the Herald?
kind of highlighting what we do on the day-to-day basis for our residents, because we're like the first line. I got a phone call today with a question about deeds, and like, not us,
Yeah.
but let me try to find a place for you to call. So
Yeah.
it's just stuff like that. And then wanted to say that I think I mentioned this in a previous meeting, but we did get awarded the Banner Community designation this year, which is a program through ALOM that makes you certify that you do a lot of these different kinds of initiatives in good government. So certain financial standards, certain communication standards, certain public outreach standards, and so we did get that for
What is
the
ALOM?
first time, Allegheny League of Municipalities. Thank you. And so we did get that, a Banner Community designation this year, which is the first time, and we intend to keep it forever now. Now we know how to get it and how to keep it.
And
Gwen's
as,
a little competitive there.
and
101.
as usual, not that we invented the alphabet, but we were first in line on the big banner.
First online,
101.
number one in Allegheny County.
Aside from the expressions of interest for the Planning Commission, is there any other citizen communication?
I'll mention it now, we did get an email from a resident about speeding on McCoy, concerns about McCoy. So I'll pass that along to the chief, that someone has concerns about speeding on McCoy. So we'll pass that on.
And there was another presentation on speed bumps, etc. And PennDOT apparently has quite a good online link. And one of the ones that I had never heard before were a rubberized material that you connect to the road, but you lift it in the winter so it doesn't hurt the plows.
Yeah, EMS loves those. It's really fun to watch motorcycles sail over there and then land. they're really dangerous runners.
Okay, anything else? We're adjourned.